Hi everybody, this is Tom from Rocket Restorations, and I have some very exciting news to share. I've been hinting at this for a couple weeks. I sold the Superbird. A lot of you questioned why I was selling the Superbird. Well, this is why. I am buying a giant NOS parts business, and I'm very excited about it. So I don't know if any of you know who Len Dawson is. He runs Deception Pass Auto Parts. It's up north of Seattle. And he has an amazing inventory of NOS. I think there's 150,000 part numbers here. It's a lot of really cool stuff. I've been collecting NOS stuff and selling it for years and years. And Len's about 90 now, and he was ready to retire, and I bought the business. I am super excited about this. I'm not so excited about trying to move all this stuff and finding a place for it. I'll get into that in a minute. Just want to say that the signs in the background are all going to auction. They're not individually for sale. I know I'm going to get a bunch of questions about that. I have tried to buy a few of them. He says they're going to auction. He let me have one sign in this, which I will show you a picture of in a little bit here. So, but this is pretty amazing. Len's been collecting these parts for about 40 years, back when you could still find this stuff, and there's just an amazing array of NOS stuff in here. I mean, I'm just scratching the surface here. So he basically kind of has an organization system. S is the bottom floor, X is the top floor, and the lights just turned off. Awesome. But yeah, there's just an amazing array of stuff here. He has parts, and if you want to check out the website, I encourage you. I'm going to be redesigning it soon, but you can search all the parts on there. Oh wow, NOS Fury Radio. The website is dpmotorparts.com, and there's a searchable inventory on there. I mean, it's kind of hard. You can't really search by like which car you have. You kind of have to know the part number, and I'm going to work on that. He did things a certain way. So when he like wrote down all this stuff, it's basically exactly how it looked in the parts book. So like if it was gauges in the parts book, it said gauges. If it's lamp in the parts book, that's kind of what it said. So, but I'm hoping to make this a little more user-friendly. But yeah, these are good here. So the 293, that's a 69 part number. 343 that's a 71 part number. There's a lot of good parts in here, and it goes from the 30s all the way to the early 80s. He didn't get much stuff after that. He was really good about, he kind of cherry-picked stuff, which kind of made some people mad when he's buying out parts inventories. But you know, he went through and like made sure it was stuff that was usable and not just junk. You know, a lot of that stuff from the 80s. I mean, no offense to K cars here. You know, everyone loves a good K car, but they're obviously the ones that are not worth a ton of money. Grill shells, those are early ones. That's like pre-war, I think. Lots and lots of mufflers. Again, this stuff's been online. Like the people who know Len, and you know, a lot of the CUDA Challenger stuff, you know, that stuff's mostly been bought. There's a ton of C-body parts. I mean, I was going through, this is the second time we've been up here. There was a 70 Super B grill emblem, like the original B emblem in there, was still in the inventory. This is mostly grills over here. These are NOS bumpers. These are so hard to ID off a car. I think that's C-body. Again, he's got all the part numbers online to look. He's got a 1963 Chrysler 300J too that I might be buying this one too. Cool car. Cross trams and everything. Yeah. We'll see if that happens or not. I love going through stuff like this. Minneapolis Parts Depot. Kingpin kit. I love NOS parts. There's some drums in here too. I don't know what that is. It has studs. Huh. Lenses. Chrome trim. I've known about Len for a long time. I didn't really know him very well, but he's a nice guy. I've kind of met him over the past couple weeks, and this is kind of his lifetime collection here. All those hubcaps up in the attic there are NOS. Pretty impressive collection. That's actually international box, which is interesting. There's just an amazing array of parts here. I'm just super excited to be able to dig into this and see what's really here. I mean, obviously I've gone over the parts inventory and be able to see everything, but you know, look at the part numbers. That's a weird drum. Looks like it has studs in it. I don't know if that's a replacement that goes over the hub or something. 363 is like a 73 part number. 72, 73, probably 73. Lenses in that box, chrome trim. I haven't really 100% figured out what his, what's on each shelf. He has basically boxes for like clear lenses and chrome emblems and that kind of stuff. So the stuff's organized, but there's not really like, I haven't found a guide to like what's on each shelf, but he has the stuff pretty well organized. So when I get this all home and moved, I'm gonna go through and try and do like a map so I can kind of figure that out. But you can see each box has like S85 on it. So that basically means what shelf it's on. So obviously it says 85 on that shelf, and the stuff's got to stay on the shelves when it's moved. There's cables there. So much good stuff here. And then the numbers that are crossed off is stuff that he sold. He actually has like, usually bags in each one where he has like multiple of the small parts that are organized, and then each bag has the part numbers on it. So you can cross them off. Oh, that's kind of neat. That's Watford City, North Dakota. I wonder if he cleaned that place out. I went to that place a few years ago and bought all their leftover NOS parts inventory, but it looks like Len may have gotten there before me. Watford City is kind of in the far western part of North Dakota. We stopped by there a couple years ago. Got a lot of good stuff in there. He actually had some pretty cool. He had some kind of neat cars actually. He had a Challenger TA. Those like late quarter panel fender extensions on there. A few more signs up on the wall. Again, as mentioned before, the signs are not for sale. Those are all going to a big auction, but there's some really neat stuff there too. I got the one. He let me have the one sign, but I tried to buy the other ones, but he said he wants to sell them all together. So, yeah, he was a Hudson guy, so he's got a lot of Hudson signs and stuff. That's a really clean truck. He was the original owner of that. That's a 66 Coronet with a 318 poly. That truck's original paint. Fortunately, he did not get a Cummins, which is a little disappointing on that. That was a Cummins truck. It would be worth a ton of money. More NOS hubcaps up there. There's some really good ones. And again, he's got all that stuff inventory. That looks like kind of newer stuff there on the outside. That's an old fire truck he hasn't restored. That goes out to like parades and stuff in the area. He's got some really cool posters on the wall too. This is up on the second floor. So there's basically 2 floors of parts. Just checks in a random box into Super B NOS. That's cool. This kind of shows you here how he restores trim. So there's 40 tubs like that of trim, and it's kind of interesting how he did that. So the biggest problem with Mopar NOS trim is just identifying it. They always had really weak paper thin wrappers on them, so he would kind of tape the ends together so they wouldn't fall off, and then write the part number on the end, which is a good way to do it. That way it's also easy when you're trying to pull them to see what it was. Those are a bunch of long tubes there for shipping. It's always hard finding tubes to ship stuff. Bunch of grills, but a lot of them looked used. There was a Dart one in there, Chrysler one in there. They didn't, as I said, I don't think they were NOS. Most of the stuff here is NOS, but there was a few used parts. So that's upstairs. The shelves were X, 521. That's usually Omni Horizon, which obviously isn't a great part. Some metal pieces there, some early grills. Ooh, a Ford part. I wonder if there's a Mopar part hidden in there, but I didn't realize he had any Ford parts. Noted. These are bumper pile here. There's a lot of good NOS bumpers here. There's I believe that's a CUDA one there on the left. You can kind of see there is some pitting on some of this chrome, but I think that's 72 to 74 CUDA, I think. NOS bumper, that's kind of neat. I'm glad these are labeled because, man, it can be really, really hard to identify bumpers off a car. Like, super, super difficult. Wow, I think that's actually a 70 Challenger front valence. Maybe it's Charger. Wow, I can't believe he still has that. That's a cool piece. That's a pretty major piece, hard to find. There's like bumper brackets there. Dash pieces, maybe. I mean, he's got stuff from the 20s all the way to the 80s. He kind of at the, he was still buying parts up, but towards the end, he was getting a little more picky. There's a bunch more tubs, more parts, 293. That's a good part number. That's 1969 something. Corinth, Mississippi on there. Interesting. Just so much good stuff. And
Yay, I gotta move all of this. That's the hard part. There's a bunch of heater controls. Hoping I can consolidate some of these shelves together. That would be really nice if that's possible, because there's a lot of bumper guards. There's a lot of shelves. So I counted them, there's 177 shelves I have to move. I mean, he had kind of big aisles. I think I can condense some of that stuff so it doesn't take up quite as much room, but yeah, it's a problem. Trying to find a place for all this stuff. And it's not just a place for the stuff, but it's keeping it organized and being able to get to it too. Lenses, you know, if you can't get to the parts, if they're packed so tightly you can't get in there, it doesn't do much good. Power brake booster kit. Those are getting hard to find. It's getting hard to find good power brake booster cores. You know, we've sent a few off lately, and almost all of them have been bad when we sent them to the rebuild shop. They're just rusty internally, and so much trim. And you can't really stack that stuff. I mean, it's in little tubs like that, but like there's not much you can do about it. It's a 194 horn ring. That's like forward look, 5960 forward look era. 421, that's early 80s. Some of the 80s truck stuff's worth some money, but most of the car stuff really isn't. There's a bit of Omni Horizon stuff too. People don't really like that stuff. The GLHS cars in the mid 80s, some of those parts can be worth some money, but the earlier stuff, the first gen of those is there's not a lot of demand. There's a few guys out there collecting those things, but like every dealer when those cars came out had to buy like a certain number of NOS parts to be able to service them, and a lot of them are still out there. Oh, that's a good box with lenses. But you can see the part numbers. You know, Mopar in their general part number system like went up every year, so you can look at the part number and kind of tell what era it's from. You know, like 293 is like 69, 344 is like 71, 299 is like 70. So it's pretty easy to tell just by the part number when the part was introduced. You know, some of the mechanical stuff was used for years, but any of the trim and stuff like that is always year specific. You know, because obviously the design changed a lot. Yeah, the chrome isn't perfect on these. It's kind of funny where the clear tape is. The chrome is really good, but where on the other side it wasn't much. He's kind of near his warehouse is kind of near the water in the town it's in. So there's definitely some. I bet that would clean up though. Get a little triple aught steel well would probably clean up pretty good. And if nothing else, you know, an NOS bumper is a perfect core to send off to get restored. You know, you send it to a chrome company and they don't have to do any straightening on it because it's NOS. It's perfectly straight.
And while I'm obviously super excited about this, the only thing that's keeping me up at night is, well, that's been documented multiple times on this channel. I am a hoarder and I have way too much junk, and finding a spot for all this stuff. So do the math. There's 3,400 square feet of NOS parts that I'm buying, and there's 177 3x6 shelves, and then there's 40 tubs of trim. I need to find a place for all that stuff. So this bay was actually completely full 2 days ago. I'm working on emptying it. So all these shelves need to move, all these parts need to move, and I need to make room for all these parts. And a lot of this stuff, I've been in this place about 8 years now. This place was empty when I moved in. It didn't take me long to fill it. I've actually been making some pretty serious progress over the last couple of days. You know, these are all bins over here. I have a lot of NOS parts in these, and yeah. So I need to move all this stuff by basically next week. Let me show you the other bays, and let me show you my temporary solution. Before I show you the solution, just want to show you a little more hoarding. So this bay needs to get cleaned out too. There's a lot of stuff in here. This is what the other bay looked like before I started cleaning. And here's the last bay where I probably won't have enough room to put all the parts. So basically, I'm using this as wheel and tire storage and sign storage, and it's all gonna have to go to a different bay. And it still probably won't be enough. There's my 69 CHP Polara. That one's going up for sale soon because, well, I need to make room. Okay, that's funny. This is a new gravel I put down that has not been compacted yet. I think those are deer prints, maybe cat prints. It's amazing how much wildlife's out here in my yard. And here's my temporary solution. A couple shipping containers. And make it a third. Don't tell my wife that one though. She wasn't real happy about the two. And I'm actually gonna build a shelter roof over that red box back there. So I actually put a shelter between the two containers so I can store all my toys in here, my tractor, my go-karts, all that fun stuff. So yeah, so basically I'm moving all the stuff from the shops into here, and hopefully I can kind of organize it when I move the stuff. Amazing how much room there is in these things. So yeah, we started moving stuff over here and trying to keep stuff organized. I've been collecting NOS parts for a long time, so these boxes are all full of NOS stuff from dealers we've gotten over the years and just haven't had a chance to organize. So yeah, this is basically my life for the next week, is organizing stuff, moving it over here, and yeah, this is why I'm stressed out and losing sleep overnight. So yeah, so I'm obviously super excited about buying this NOS parts business. The logistics are gonna be not so easy, I'll just put it that way. It's gonna be a lot of work to get this stuff down, but we're making our first trip up there on Tuesday, and gonna start moving stuff down. Luckily, I've got my 24-foot enclosed trailer to help with the deal. I can fit a lot of stuff in that trailer, and it's 14,000 pounds, so it'll fit a lot of weight in that thing. There she is back there. All right, back to hoarder room number 1. So yeah, so that's the plan. So we're gonna start moving stuff down. There's stuff's gonna be available for sale. If you wanna go to that website, here's the website again. If you wanna look at the inventory of NOS parts we're buying. Honestly, it's probably gonna be a month or two till we get all this stuff moved and get it organized, just because it's such a Herculean task. The reason I bought the business though was Len was ridiculously organized with stuff, and that's gonna be the hard part. So every part number has its own shelf, everything's marked, but I have to not mix the stuff up when I'm moving it. So basically, we're gonna use a bunch of the Costco bins. That's what I call these black and yellows. They're really cheap at Costco. We're gonna fill them up. We're gonna try to do, each shelf has its own bin that's labeled as it moves, and then each one has its own shelf. Then we move the shelves in, we're gonna, obviously put them back on here. And we're gonna start with this room, then go to that back shop, and then go to the middle shop, and hopefully we can keep all this stuff organized as we do this. So if you want to order parts off the website, I can absolutely help you out. We can pick them out as we're moving, but as far as being like full tilt, ready to sell parts and ready to go, it's honestly going to be a month or two till I can do that. We're going to redesign the website. We're going to reorganize everything. And yeah, and if you look for parts, if you need parts on there, please send it to my email, not the email on the website. We're trying to get control of the website. As I mentioned, Len is 90 years old. He's not tech savvy at all. So I'm having to contact one of his people to change the email on the website to my email. And we have not currently done that. So, but that will be hopefully in the next week, I can get all that fixed. So this is Tom from Rocket Restorations. Appreciate everybody for watching and coming on the journey with me. We'll talk to you soon.